now recognizes Representative Rouzer from North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Richardson, thank you for your service. It's not an easy job that you have by any means, but a very, very important job. Just to finish that line of questioning, or your answer rather, you mentioned BRIC, the BRIC program was funding bicycle paths, and then what else you got cut off? I was just curious what else you were going to say.
So there was bicycle paths, it was trees surrounding bus stops, and these grants have been used for a lot of rather what I would call odd things. For example, we put people up in the Roosevelt Hotel, or illegal immigrants up in the Roosevelt Hotel with some of the grants. That wasn't necessarily a wise thing to do. We also have funded projects that made DEI ambassadors for the New York City Police Department.
Yeah, so not exactly mitigation efforts.
Right. During the Biden administration, it seems like there were a lot of the grants. A lot of the grants sound good, and then you dig into them, and they're not so good. I've got a note here on a handful of them, but so yeah, if you're housing folks in the or illegal aliens in the Roosevelt Hotel, that's probably not the best use of the American taxpayers' money.
Okay.
Looks good on the surface, but when you get into it, it's not.
I got the answer there. Let me move on to my questions before I run out of time. So the Review Council, when does FEMA anticipate the Review Council will finalize and share its recommendations for Congress? Do you have an idea of a timeline on that?
The FEMA Review Council is working now, and there's, in the late fall, I believe that's when, or when are they plan to give their recommendation to the president.
Thank you for that. Hurricanes Matthew and Florence, they affected my district pretty significantly. Matthew was in 2016, Hurricane Florence was in 2018. In 2018, Brock Long was the administrator. And I have to say, in both of those storms, the FEMA response was very, very good. But we still have, those cases are still open. They've not yet closed. In other words, there's still need there. And there's still reimbursement that's waiting to be signed, or I'm not sure where it is in the bureaucratic process. And of course, those storms were 7 and 9 years ago, respectively. Or let me just put it this way: can you get me a report on exactly what's left to be finished up on as it relates to those two storms? Not right now, but soon after this hearing, when you can.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Each day I get a snapshot of the open disaster claims, and it's shocking to see how many of them are still open. And no doubt, we need to reduce the number of open declarations. And yes, I can get back with you, and I'd be happy to get back with you on that.
Yeah, is that an issue of resources or administrative time, or what is the holdup there, or regulatory burden of some sort?
My gut feeling is it's just how it's developed over time. Probably at one point, a handful of people, touched it, and by this point, there's many more people than necessary to touch that.
Okay, one last thing. Hurricane Helene didn't hit my district, but it did hit my friend and colleague Chuck Edwards and Virginia Fox really, really hard. Their districts in western North Carolina. Obviously, you have every storm is different. Every locale is different. In western North Carolina, you have a lot of private roads. FEMA traditionally doesn't help out with private roads, but if those private roads don't get rebuilt, you can't, get debris and other items that are necessary for recovery. And I think that's been one of the big issues for western North Carolina. Chuck Edwards had tried to get some clarifying language included as part of the CR. That didn't work out. But flexibility in terms of addressing need, because again, not every place is the same, I think is crucially important. Is that a line of thought that you all are pursuing at all?
The question involves private roads, and thanks for the question again. Right, private roads is an issue, particularly for some reason in North Carolina, and we're working for a way where we can resolve that and try to provide a resolution to that. And I'll keep in contact with you and make sure you kind of stay abreast of that.
Well, until that aspect is handled, it's just hard for that area to make any kind of substantial recovery. That's the bottom line. And it's somewhat unique to Western North Carolina, which speaks to the need for flexibility when you're dealing with these disasters and response.
Yeah, my heart goes out to the people of North Carolina and that whole region, Tennessee, Western Virginia, that had to suffer that tragedy.
Thank you, sir. I yield back.
Gentlemen, thanks